SnowTrax is sponsored by Ski-Doo Snowmobiles. Experience that Ski-Doo feeling. Yamaha revs your heart. And by FXR Racing. Maximum versatility for all conditions.
Perfect day for the road to blue sky will take us home.
Winter means a lot of different things to different folks, but when you live in the North, I'm talking the real North, having products that don't just perform, but outperform, and don't just last, but outlast. Well, that's what keeps you going every day, every snowfall, every ice storm, and having to deal with only one dealership for one brand. Well, that's what One Yamaha is all about. From first light, the commercial-grade, ultra-high-quality lineup of Trax snowblowers from Yamaha don't just help you clean up, they conquer the snow, keeping traction thanks to the rugged track drive system while putting the snow right where you need it via easy-to-use electronic chute controls with resin-lined chutes and easily adjustable on-the-fly auger height. The 296cc 10-horsepower 4-stroke engine with keyed and battery electric start powering the hydrostatic transmission means even at sub-zero degree early mornings, you can count on this blower to work as hard as you do, and do it quietly thanks to an all-new low-idle governor, allowing the YS 1028 to operate at just 53.1 decibels under light load. With blowers at 24, 28, and 32 inches wide, there's a Yamaha snowblower for your task. Cleaning up around the house or working hard all day for your snow removal business, able to move up to 76 tons of snow per hour, throwing up to 62 feet with the 358cc YT 1332 model. When the task requires traversing great distances and unique terrain, tracks on an ATV are hard to beat, as is the unwavering reliability of the Kodiak 700 EPS Special Edition ATV. Going the distance isn't a problem, and when equipping one of these winter monsters with a plow, look out. Snow doesn't stand a chance, keeping forward momentum through even the deepest of powder and allowing you to get the important stuff done, because we all know, family time is the most important time. With features like electronic power steering, a powerful 686cc single overhead cam EFI engine, and Yamaha's Ultramatic CVT transmission with two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and diff lock, the Kodiak isn't just a winter-conquering beast, it's every bit as useful and fun when the snow melts. With a job to be done, Yamaha generators come to the rescue with gas-powered inverter generators from 1,000 to 6,300 watts, gas-powered premium series generators from 2,600 to 7,200 watts, and diesel-powered commercial generators in 7,000 and 11,000 watt versions. Because no matter your need for power, be it ice storms, windstorms, construction site, cottage, cabin, or ensuring the ice on your rink is flawless, the same Yamaha dealer will have a product that's not only right for your job, but for your budget as well. And when the work is complete, there are few things more exhilarating than swinging a leg over a 200 horsepower 998cc turbocharged 4-stroke SRX snowmobile. Reaching incredible speed in ridiculously short distances, carving corners and smoothing out bumps thanks to IQS electronically controlled suspension, you'll not only be the first to the end of the lake, you'll also arrive there in buttery smooth suspension compliance, adjustable on the fly no matter the conditions you encounter. Much like the task of the day, Yamaha products don't just accomplish your goals, they rev your heart. From first light to final throttle pull, this is one Yamaha.
Some sleds carry a legendary heritage. We would argue that Arctic Cat's ZR series carries copious cachet and an amazing history. On this week's test ride, we're going to drill down on the Arctic Cat ZR RR 8137. Model year 2020 had some twists in the road for Arctic Cat, not the least of which is the availability of 2020 models to spring-only customers. That's right, if you wanted a 2020 Arctic Cat model, you needed to lay down a deposit last spring. As a result of a limited build of 2020s, dealers are working hard to sell all their non-current models during the 2019-2020 sales season. Understanding this new reality means this: there will be significant exclusivity in owning a 2020 model year Arctic Cat, and resale value will be enhanced on any 2020 model sold. The ZR 8000 RR 137 is a premium model which comes equipped with premium goodies, not the least of which is a full set of Fox QS3R Kashima-coated shocks. These are not just good quality, easy-to-adjust shocks, they are among the very best dampers money can buy. Until you've actually had a set of Fox QS3s, you can't completely appreciate how easy they make dialing in your ride. These premium dampers deliver real value in the RR. For model year 20, Arctic Cat has more than updated the former dual-stage slot injection 800 engine. They've actually replaced the engine with a new semi-direct injection, or SDI, fuel system. You're wondering why this occurred, aren't you? Well, as of this moment in history, so are we. Arctic Cat hasn't been sitting still. They've significantly updated the Procross chassis with a new raised spindle, which actually lowers the roll center of the front of the sled. This has a huge effect on initial turn-in and really improves mid-corner bite. The ZR/RR has a fresh look brought to market over a year ago. Bodywork is much more appealing, aerodynamic, very service-friendly, and maybe most importantly, it is exponentially easier for owners to use. Filling the oil tank is now simple with quick-remove fender panels using proprietary twist latches, while clutch access and belt changes require significantly fewer contortions to initiate. We found the new front-end geometry to be an effective upgrade, reducing understeer and providing better control and more feedback through the bars. Unfortunately, even with the excellent Fox QS3s in the slide-action suspension and a standard 137-inch mogul bridging track, the ZR/RR comes up short when compared to the competition's ride quality. We think it's time for Arctic to update the venerable slide-action system and go to a long front torque arm design popularized by Ski-Doo and now used by Polaris. The 800 C-Tech has gone through some material upgrades for model year 2020. These include new cylinders, new heads, new pistons, and a complete remapping of the fuel system and the ignition system. The results are impressive. The shift this year to SDI import fuel delivery required the former dual-stage injection engine to receive all new cylinders, heads, and pistons. The only carried over parts on this repowering are the cases and crankshaft. This bold move appears to have no downside, as the virtually all-new 800cc twin appears just as strong as the former motor. According to sources, the new SDI 800 is EPA certified clean. While we have only been able to test this new SDI engine at altitude, it could be considered a credible competitor to the current crop of 850s. At this time, we cannot comment on either fuel economy or oil consumption. ZR handling has been the stuff of legend for as long as there has been ZR. We think this model year 2020 edition demonstrates significantly improved handling, thus making it worthy of the handle ZR. One area where the new ZR needs a tweak is the rear seat, in particular the seat foam density. While the RR's seat is comfy, it collapses too much when the rider is seated, making seated to standing transitions awkward and more difficult than they should be. The relationship of the handlebars to the rider's knees and footrests is also affected by the overly soft seat. An increase in seat foam density would cure this. We're impressed with the tweaked model year 2020 ZR-RR 137. The engine has found new vigor, and the suspension geometry changes will please a legion of Cat faithful. It's time for you now to check out these changes for yourself and see what's new on the ZR-RR.
Trail Tech is sponsored by Princess Auto. Make it work.
So we're back in the Trail Tech shop again today, and I'm here with my buddy Jordan, who's got this sweet 2007 XRS 800 PowerTek. Now this sled's been kind of pre-dialed in for being a bit of a lake racer, and I mean, I remember running this sled back when it was brand new in 2007. I absolutely love this chassis and this motor. Jordan, tell us a little bit about why you bought it and what your plans are for it.
Well, this was actually the first brand new sled that I ever purchased, as you know, and it was a generation that was really pushing for a race sled that you could drive on the trails. And so after we finished racing, this sled came available and I bought it. It's one of those things where I absolutely love the snowmobile, and because it was my first baby, I'm glad to have it back in the stable and just able to ride it again.
What have you done to this sled already to make it a little more tuned up for this higher speed lake running that you want to do with it?
Well, these PTEC motors are a little bit more limited than some of the previous motors because of the electronics and the knock sensor in them. But you just make sure the motor's tight and good compression and stuff like that. And then we got into clutching. So really clutching was the next step. We're gonna have the traction kind of done today. And then after that, I want to dial in the suspension and make sure that we're really putting the traction down to the ground and that we're set up properly.
The trigger stud uses a through-hardened carbon steel with a 60-degree carbide tip. The shape of the stud is far more aggressive than your conventional Gold Digger or Traction Master, and it also features a shortened thread portion. This allows for the most aggressive penetration into the ice and snow. The tapered design of the trigger makes it more narrow and able to cut into the icy lake conditions. And for our XRS, we'll be using 3 studs in every pitch to ensure excellent traction. But if you just want to get out there and feel more comfortable at acceleration and braking, you can run 2 studs per pitch, or even 2 every other pitch works just fine. Now when it comes to high-speed icy grip and competition use, you can run as many studs as your track will handle, but to keep it balanced, we're opting to go 3 studs in every pitch. I always like using a Woody's track guide, and seeing as we already have 2 studs per pitch, we can just extrapolate on that and add another 2. Marking pens and the stud drill bit that Woody's provides makes the studding job so much easier, and doing it with 2 people can also save a bunch of time. Now for this sled, we opted to go with the round aluminum backer plates in a sweet matching blue. Woody's offers backer plates in all kinds of colors, as well as a few different shapes, and also in combined backers where 2 studs are used in a single backer plate. So traction for lake racing is right at the top of our list, but I wanted to make sure that before we go any further, we talk about balance traction. It's something that's really important to us here at SnowTrax, so I've got 2 different options for us to talk about, and one of them for us to put on your sled.
Cool.
First up is the Ace Bar, and personally it's one of my favorites as it features a square profile host bar that's both tall and narrow. Most people believe the main force in steering a snowmobile is strictly the carbide, but it's not. It's the host bar that does a lot of the work when conditions aren't pure ice. So seeing as this sled will still be trail ridden, the Ace Bar is a great option. Now should you want to go more conventional, the Executive Runner is more focused on the trail and cross-country rider with a studded track. It strategically locates the same 8 inches of 60-degree carbide as the Ace Runner under the 1/2 inch round host bar, and because of its positioning helps to protect the runner from excessive wear. The Executive is a hallmark Woody's runner, however because I'm very fond of the Ace Bar due to its aggressive square host bar, for this CNA ski, I choose the Ace. Okay, so Jordan, it's probably time for us to get this thing out on the ice and snow, and for you to see exactly what it can do.
So I'm gonna go out and give this thing a test, check out the new carbides in the front. I'll be able to get a good feel on those today, and you know what? I'll guarantee you we're gonna find some ice with these triggers.
So, Jordan, you've been able to get out with the trigger studs, the Ace carbides. What's your opinion on these things?
Dude, this thing is actually legitimately hooking up. I mean, you can see it. I mean, it's put a huge smile on my face, and genuinely, like, extremely impressed with these studs, man.
Like, you had 96 studs in there, but there were a bunch that were broken off and bent and not in the greatest shape. So these ones, like the competition ones, man, when you take off here, I know it's not a perfectly groomed track, but man, the front end of this sled is like, she's tips up, man.
You gotta hang on to it for sure, and that's, I guess, the most impressive part is just that putting that traction down on the ground, I mean, like, that's gonna win you the race every single time. I mean, honestly, I got to relook at my suspension stuff a little bit. And same thing with clutching, it's hooking up that much better now, you know what I mean? Having a fresh set of carbides is always good, but I mean, you can really tell the technology and when these guys are so I'm pumped to be able to have this new setup. I appreciate it, man.
Sweet, that's awesome. Get out there and race.
The idea that snowmobiles should be able to do more than just one thing is an idea that's gaining traction in the marketplace. Polaris has reinvented their multi-purpose Axis Adventure line of sleds for model year 2020, adding more power and improved suspension. The definitive adventure ride is targeted at buyers who want their snowmobile to look like it's out of the mainstream and, most importantly, different than most of the sleds you meet on the trail. The idea is simple. Build in some versatility from the factory, and buyers who tend to march upstream against the status quo will clamp on the adventure paradigm. Ski-Doo's Enduro models and Arctic Cat's Crosstrek series are both credible competitors to the Indy XC Adventure. Polaris doesn't mess around in the power department. You can have your Indy XC Adventure in 600 or 800 clean firepower all year long, or you can have 850 Patriot power on SnowTrax only. Moving the Adventure into the Indy XC full tunnel Axis chassis with the new 137-inch Pro CC shock and skid suspension was smart. The new 129 Pro CC was a rockstar hit in model year 19, and the market immediately clamored for a 137-inch version. The new Indy XC 137 chassis serves the Adventure exceptionally well, providing a solid mounting location for a ginormous tunnel bag capable of hauling a weekend's worth of Harvey Woods and a couple toothbrushes. Walker Evans shocks adorn all four corners of the new Indy XC Adventure. These compression-adjustable dampers provide an exceptional ride in the Pro CC 129 and an outstanding ride in the Pro CC 137. Polaris Pro CC rear suspension utilizes an extra-long front torque arm and double coupling on the rear drop link to generate what is oh so close to the industry's benchmark ride, Ski-Doo's R-Motion. With Walker needle shocks in the skid adjusting for trail conditions or for the weight of a passenger when the optional 2-up seat is used means there is a ton of versatility available for an adventure buyer. Adventure accoutrements include a sexy tubular front bumper and your choice of 3 windshields. We recommend at least the mid-height. As well, there's standard mirrors, a giant tunnel bag, and your choice of Polaris optional GPS gauge. Model year 2020 marks an important moment for Polaris in their repertoire of available factory-installed options, with the inclusion of Camso's effective and highly desirable Ice Ripper pre-studded tracks. While other tracks are available, we would suggest, if you can find an in-season adventure with an Ice Ripper, that you not think twice about paying the extra jing for this track. While not as effective as a traditionally studded track, the Ice Ripper paradigm provides a tangible increase in traction and thus safety. I'm not sure why Polaris made mirrors standard on the Indy Adventure and E-Start optional. You wouldn't want your weekend adventure complicated by pulling a rope, would you? Riding the new Indy XC Adventure 137 with any of the 3 available engine options demonstrates why Polaris needed to take Pro CC to 137 inches. The sled hooks up and launches noticeably stronger as a result of the improved footprint. On fast, smooth trails, the 137 is completely transparent, allowing for the Indy's legendary variable caster IFS to deliver predictable initial turn-in, mid-corner control, and skis lifted exits. Keep in mind, we have recorded a hint of understeer with Pro CC as a result of its relatively quick coupling moment. Because the Indy's turn-in is predictable, your confidence will not be undermined by this trait. When the trails get rough, the Pro CC 137 delivers remarkable ride quality, using its extra-length rail to bridge moguls. Front suspension compliance is, quite frankly, the standard by which all others must be judged. While it's difficult in one test report to give you a full review of all 3 Adventure power packages, let's say this: you get power in direct proportion to what you pay for when you decide on 600, 800, or 850 power. Part of the adventure experience is owning a snowmobile that is capable of off-trail navigation. This question becomes increasingly difficult to define with the existence of targeted, off-trail capable crossover rides. So does the Indy XC Adventure work in deep snow? The answer is unquestionably okay. However, you should temper your enthusiasm for off-trail forays on the Adventure 137 with this reality. The Adventure is predominantly an on-trail ride that can rip in untramped snow on lakes and trails and will propel itself into deeper snow, but not nearly as capable as the Polaris Assault 144. If off-trail riding is a significant part of your snowmobiling expectations, then the Adventure won't be your ideal ride. The Indy XC Adventure is a smart move for Polaris. Buyers in this category will appreciate the Pro CC 137's improved suspension compliance and the conventional tunnel's ability to carry tons of cargo.
SnowTrax has been sponsored by Polaris Snowmobiles, MBRP Performance Exhaust, race-inspired, trail-proven, and by Hercules Tire, ride on our strength.
If you like what you've just seen, click the subscribe button and comment below. And make sure you check out all of our great videos on SnowTrax TV's YouTube channel.